Góðan daginn! Welcome to Project Pal. My name is Gunnhildur. I'm an Icelander, live in Iceland, and this is my podcast vlog chat type of thing where I talk mainly about knitting, crocheting, yarn, anything fiber related that I find out because I really like to share things that I'm interested in. I also talk quite a bit about weather, which by the way is not very arctic at the moment because it's been raining, at least in my part of the country. I live in the eastern part. Almost I said Aston, that's not you Icelandic, so I don't know where that came from. But yeah, this past week you had like plus, I think it was like plus 11, I think on Wednesday. Otherwise it's been like, from +2 up to +8 or 9. I'm like, it's October. It's not complaining, but it doesn't feel very seasonal. Oh, and honestly I forgot to check, but also because I'm an Icelander, I live in Iceland, and one of the things that my country is very, very much known for is geological activities, and I forgot to check. But as far as I'm aware, there is currently not any major activities. There might be, the occasional earthquake, which is common. I haven't heard any news about anything newsworthy, basically. But having said that, that doesn't mean that something isn't happening. Because Iceland is very, very awake when it comes to like earthquakes and volcanoes and all that fun stuff. Because Lord knows there are so many false news on the interwebs, and when you know that there are people who make content without verifying their sources or just blatantly making stuff up. Yeah, I like to do my little part in making sure that at least some people are aware that Iceland isn't burning. Very fine. But yeah, so you may notice I am not on my bed. That's because yet again my bed is covered in laundry. So I set myself a challenge a week ago. Oh, first off, it's only 4:30 in the afternoon, so go me. And the main reason I'm filming now and not earlier is because I was actually finishing one of my goals for this last week. I'm so happy because listen, when I sat down to chat with you a little bit last Sunday, I think it was like 7 or 8 in the evening. I'm like, cannot remember. My brain was like not quite braining. I had completely forgotten that the following Friday, last Friday, we were actually doing inventory at my work. I had completely forgotten that was when we had decided to do our yearly inventory. So I'm like, goodness. It went well. There were 3 of us of the usual workers. We got some help from another store that had like the store manager brought along 4 young girls who really, really, really wanted to come and help us count. That's not very common, and they were so good at it. Like, very proud of them. And we also had because it's a little thing. So my town is a small community. So something like this, not only is it good for us to get some extra help, but it's also used as fundraising for okay, so our local okay, so the system painting myself in a little corner here. So for American viewers, the school system in Iceland is, we don't have like high school or that other thing. I cannot remember, like junior, senior, high school. We don't have that. We have very, very simple European system where basically you start at grade 1 the year that you're turning 6, and it just goes up to 10. in the same building, the same thing. It's just called Grundskole, base school. It's very simple. So grade 9, that would be kids that are turning 15 that year or that winter. And so in grade 10, there's they have to do quite a lot of studying. So back when I was a kid, in grade 10 we would do like fundraising and collecting money for a fund so we could go traveling. Went out circle around Iceland and did like a lot of fun things. But nowadays, because grade 10 is actually a little bit tougher, or at least they're trying to do not everything at the same time, with smart. So nowadays it's grade 9, at least in this town, which sounds smarter. So one of the fundraising that the grade 9 does here is that they help us to do the inventory in exchange for payment for the travel funds. So this year it's not a big class, but most of them were very good. I mean, yeah, there's always at least one troublemaker. There were two who needed a little bit of assistance because of I think one of them has some level of autism, which he's dealing with. He's working very well with himself, so if he needed help he would come and like ask for it, which at that age, commendable. And another boy who, fortunately his mother was with him, and I know his mother, so he has ADHD, so he would need a little I'm not gonna say hand holding, but a little like help, because if you have ADHD or you're familiar with it, when it's extremely disruptive for the person, it hurts the soul, it hurts the heart, because you feel that there's something that you would like to be able to do, and the fact that you aren't able to do it in the way that you think it should be done, particularly when you're a child and a teenager, the boxes look really, really nice, and when you're not able to do that at the level that you think you should be able to do, it can get very depressing. But I feel like most of them did very well. I'm thinking of one kid, not either of those two, there was a third kid. He was rather disruptive, the poor kid, but it all went well, and we finished at midnight. Which I start my work at 8 in the morning, so my day was 16 hours about. So yesterday, Saturday, when I was gonna do like quite a few things, I didn't. I slept. I don't have the mental or the physical capacity. I don't have the energy to deal with that. That level of work is like, no. My body was like, no. So thankfully I managed to sleep yesterday, but that also meant that didn't manage to do the things that I was going to do yesterday. On the other hand, now, to be fair, I haven't finished. Like, a work isn't finished until you've woven in the ends and done the sewing that needs to be done. But I've finished the knitting. Okay, so this is the project bag from that last year's Advent calendar from Hobby. So it actually turned out quite nice. I can't remember what the name of the yarn was though, but it was really nice to work with though. Pantone, could that be? It was really, really nice. So obviously I need to sew up the bottom, and I need to sew down this part, and then from the rest of the yarn make a band, string, string. Yeah, I'm gonna call it string. Yeah, make it up into a string so I can pull it close. And honestly, I think this is gonna be an adorable little project bag. So that's mostly done. Need to do sewing, but you know, what is done is done. Let's see, get set the guys where. Yes. Okay, and then when it comes to this project, so this is the main reason why I didn't film earlier today, is because I managed to finish the knitting. I managed to finish both the projects that I set myself a challenge to do. Now again, I have not woven in the ends, I have not done the sewing that needs to be done, but I finished the knitting. I finished the knitting. Look at it. Gaze upon this glory. And ignore the puckering, because again, this is the first time in such a long time that I've done this type of pattern. Look at how wonderful the colors turn out. Okay, ignore the puckering. But yeah, so I actually managed to finish both the projects. I was like, last weekend I was like, I can manage. So I managed to do that. And the yarn that's left over, most of the red and the dark pink, and quite a lot of the pale pink. That's like, okay, nice. Now I just need to figure out something to do with the leftovers, which is fine, because again, this is the first of two of this nearly exact same thing. I'm at some point, not right away, I'm going to be doing this again in the actual colors that are in the pattern itself. But you know, I really like this one too. Like, I am so proud of myself. Obviously there's going to be a lot of ends to weave in, but and then washing it and laying out, see how the knitting evens out. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm really proud of myself. I am so proud of myself. Let's see, so that was the project that I wanted to finish. I haven't played The Sims, which I was going to be doing this past week, but I just didn't. Actually, I might do that tonight. I've been doing my best to keep up with the writing. That has also not been quite going this week, but I've done what I've done. Reading a couple of pages, so that's something, I guess. But credit where credit is due, I did finish the things that I did set out to finish. So, and I also started, of course, I started a new project. So last night I did bring my sweater with me, but because I didn't have a shorter cable to do the neck lining, I did have, can you see this cutie in this colorway, the Twister Halloween by Hobby, the cotton acrylic blend, like this called color 1, but I'm pretty certain they have names like on the page itself, which I know about because I did check, and I didn't buy any more. Didn't order any more things. Mainly because I put my credit card to the side, because I actually bought myself a new smartphone about a year overdue. Yeah, wouldn't recommend it because there's a very good chance that my old phone had actually been hacked, considering the clues that I was starting to see. Not a nice thought, but that's what happens when the software update, the software hasn't been updated in over a year. But my new phone doesn't show any signs of it, so I'm like, yep, very happy. Also just the speed that is working on, like connecting to the internet, connecting to, downloading things, like, and the zoom on the camera is just like, and also because it's a Samsung, because I'm an Android girly. I am not touching an iPhone. I am not, no. But because I've had a Samsung, like, I think my entire smartphone owning years, Samsung remembers the things that I need them to remember for me. Like, when I was setting up my new phone, I had written down a small note of the apps that I needed. My phone did it for me. Like, I didn't even have to ask. It was just like, oh yeah, would you like me to do the Samsung thing? I'm like, yeah, sure. There's only a handful of apps that I needed to pick up myself, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, so I started talking about last night, and then I started talking about my phone. But yeah, that's the main reason why I'm not buying it anymore, because my credit card needs to cool down. Which is a good thing, because that means that I am forced to actually continue what I've been doing and just use the honor I do have. And I've been waiting to use, like, look at these colors. It's okay, maybe not in that light, but when I'm filming here, the window is like right there behind me, and backlighting is not that attractive, so I'm using the ceiling light, and that's marginally better, like marginally. But yeah, it's got these wonderful orange and purple and a lovely shade of black. And I found this pattern on Drops Garden Studio. I did start with another pattern that actually has, that's meant for a 4mm crochet hook, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, I was trying to find something that was simple enough, because it's Thursday night and I've been working the entire day. Thursdays are a bit of a runner day at work. And I was not happy with what I was doing. I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. And I think the major problem is basically the fibers. What isn't it, fibers? Yeah, because this is a very soft cotton acrylic blend, but I kind of feel like the pattern that I picked up first was more for a more, I kind of want to say, a stiffer type of yarn. Yeah, something that, like, I think So thankfully I just readjusted my shirts, and the pattern itself is actually for like a 3.5. It's either 3mm or 3.5, which doesn't matter, because as long as the yarn and the crochet hook are paired together properly, then basically any pattern, freestyling pattern like this it's gonna work. And this is extremely simple, like you can tell. It's also gonna look fantastic in these colors. It's gonna be so cool. And this is one of those nice simple patterns that you can just put the project down and pick it back up, and you just go, because you don't need to remember a lot, you just need to remember a little bit. This is fantastic when your brain is not braining. So I need to remember to link that pattern down below, because it's also called Rainbow, because the original colors are really nice, really pretty, and they but yeah, so I washed my ankle. So what else am I gonna put in front of myself to do? That was a weird way of putting it. So the self-imposed challenge for the upcoming week is read the books that I've started reading. Yep. I mean, continue working on this, because this is gonna be so nice to bring with me for the next midnight because I don't need your brain. And I mean, obviously, try and properly finish the other two so that I can actually, start using them. Let's see, tomorrow. Today is the 20th. Oh, so next weekend is actually Halloween weekend, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So Halloween is on not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. Ew. That means that decorations are in order. So thankfully my 81-year-old mother, is all up for spiders, skeletons, rubber rats, bugs, and witches. And the people who share our stairway, they are extremely forgiving towards us. So, we should probably get started on putting something down, shouldn't we? Oh, we should. So yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm definitely going to be finishing up the laundry. Another thing that I really need to do is go through my closets, which, that yearly thing that is really fun when you're done. Because sometimes you need to make very harsh decisions about your past purchasing decisions. You're like, anyway, that is a headache for another time. Not for right now, because you would need brain cells to have a headache. But anyway, I've had a lot of fun this week. Like, honestly, last Friday was actually way easier than I was worried that it would be. Like, I actually managed to stay awake without yawning too much. I did make sure to take, rest a little bit, quite a bit, because I usually get to do the freezer. So, being inside for hours upon hours is not recommended. You are supposed to take regular breaks and stay out of the freezing area. So I've been trying to do that. Although I quite like the cold when it's stable like that, so that's probably why I'm the one who gets to do the freezer. But yeah, and I'm also just really, really pleased with myself that I actually managed to finish the projects that I was going to finish. Like, I've been working on that sweater since last July. And I'm mostly done with it, just like, the weaving in of the ends, which are quite a bit. And then finishing the sewing, which is not the most fun part, but I want to use the things that I make. So yeah, I will hopefully see you again next weekend. I should be back on my bed by then. So I'm gonna finish doing my laundry and play The Sims. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I will hopefully catch you again next weekend. And until then, take care. Okay, bless.